What up? 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 It is 8 o'clock, man. Let's go ahead and get this thing moving. I'm excited about today, man. How y'all feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So listen, man. Before we get into our esteemed panel introducing themselves, we gotta pay some proper dues and go ahead and play our little intro. So we'll be right back. There it is, man. Once you see the intro, you know we are officially live and we are officially about to do this thing, man. I want to welcome everybody to the Roundtable Talk podcast each and every Thursday at 8 p.m. Man, we get down and bring you guys some dope topics, man. We're going to bring you some current events. We're going to bring you some things that's going on in your community, and we're just going to share our thoughts on it, man. So, as always, man, we're always blessed to have people come and rock with us, man. So, we got the familiar crew in the building today, and also we got a couple fresh faces. So before I get into that, though, let me go ahead and get the queen so she can get her intro. What's going on, CeCe?
Hey everybody, as y'all know, it's your girl CeCe with Where It Begins Magazine, and I'm happy to be here today. I can't wait to see what topics we got and to talk to y'all about it. And I'm just happy to be here. Y'all tune in with us every Thursday at 8 o'clock. Let's see what you got. Back to you, Theo.
There it is. There it is. There it is. Let's go through the regular people first, man. Then we're gonna get our special people off in here. So Shade Queen, go ahead and tell them a little bit about Shade Queen today.
Shouts out to the regular people. I'm your girl, Shady Queen from the heart of Georgia here in Warner Robins. Just excited to talk to you guys. Good night. About these topics and putting together my many children that I'm sure that you all see. If you want to check anything out about myself, you can go to Shade Queen Crawley at Facebook and Shade Queen 12 at Instagram. And also, don't forget, we still have our raffle tickets going. 1 for 5, 3 for 10, just for you. So hit me up. Back to you, Theo.
There it is. She's a mom plus a hustler. I love it. I love it. Sinister 401 on the check-in, man. Let them know a little bit about what's going on in the Sinister world. Come off mute for me though. Okay, so
Hold up.
There you go.
My butt there, yeah. My mic's okay. Let me repeat. I thought everybody heard me. Me being African, I still wanna put it out there, like still donate to anywhere in Africa. I know I'm here on the north side, and there's a place in Alpharetta called Heart of Africa. Look out for that and donate to some Africans, and anybody who sees this that I know, what I'm saying, support the raffle. It's all one love.
There it is. There it is. Hey, he supports many charities. That's a big hearted dude right there. Mac on the check in. What up, bro?
Yeah, man, what's happening? It's hard to follow that up, right? You got the hustler that went first, and then you got this dude. Now I feel like I got to put a couple pennies off in Africa, man. But don't grab your tickets from her, man. Come holler at me. I might just goddamn give you a cut. You know what I'm saying? Get at your boy. Founder of Brainstorm Productions, DUG Entertainment, and we always gonna put these issues on the table and give you the realness about
it. There it is. There it is. Listen, man, y'all taking this raffle thing seriously. I love the energy behind it. Just got to keep going, man. We're trying to do some wonderful things. If you haven't heard about it, man, we got the Beat the Pump raffle coming up. We're giving away 175, a 50, 100, 150, 75, and a $50 gas card. So we got 3 different winners coming up, man. Raffle tickets less than $5 a piece. So definitely just holler at anybody that's involved with the situation. We'll put you in the right direction, or the 2 in the middle of the squares for the Black Hollywood squares we got going on right now. But let's get to some of our this one is a familiar face, right? She's been with us before. Chick That Hustles definitely has an opinion that we respect. But for right now, man, let the people know like they don't know you.
What's going on, everybody? It's your girl, a chick that hustles, aka Chase Banks, aka Blockchain Bay, aka Football Mom. Before it was just mom, but football season is starting, so Football Mom. I could keep going, but no need to. I'm just ready to get into these and so let's get this thing jumping.
There it is. There it is. Hey, listen, man. I need you to be safe on them streets, man. You riding around and getting it, and I feel it. But be safe out there. And also, man, we got another special guest in the building with us today. Unpopular, man. Unpopular. What's going on with you, bro?
What it do? Right now I'm finishing up at the job piece. You know what I'm saying? But it's a pleasure being here. I got invited because of my musical IQ and great taste in music. So I decided I'll, give my perspective on a lot of the music that we're going to be going over. You can follow me on IG, Unpopular Media. You know what I mean? If you need some fitness videos, to work out too, I got you.
There it is. Follow that man. He seems like he get busy in the gym, but Unpopular. I'm gonna hurt your feelings just a little bit, bro. We ain't doing music today. Catch us Sunday, each and every Sunday at 8 p.m. man. Where we got the music, the roundtable music live panel, man. Where we sit down with an artist, man. It's part interview, part kind of album listening party session going with it. So you're more than welcome to come back on Sunday, brother.
My apologies. I'm trying to go back and forth, and I remember the last conversation that me and the Queen had. So, pardon my confusion.
Oh no, you're good, man. It's good that people talking about us out there, man. We love that because we go live each and every Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and we bring you something different every time. Real quick, man, before we get into these topics today, because I'm really interested to see what y'all's opinion is, the people on our panel, plus the people that's sitting out in the crowd, man. I want to hear from each and every one of you. So you can do that by actually typing in the comments if you're in the crowd, man. Whether you're watching it live or watch it on the recast, we will try to address them. Let me just go ahead and I think I got that feedback out. So let's take a couple comments real quick before we dig into this. Doris Fox on the check-in said, "Hey babies, hey mama, love you. Definitely appreciate you for supporting us." And my other heart, Nika Mack said, "Hey fam." She talking to y'all. She blowing her kisses in private to me. So let's go ahead and jump into this. But first, real quick, I'm sorry. StreamYard.com/Facebook. If you want your avatar, if you want your name to show up there so we can put a face with it, just like this person, Facebook user said, "Hey y'all, hey Facebook user, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook so we can know who we talking to, and we'll give you a more personal hey y'all back." But with that being said, man, let's go ahead and dive into that. I'm very excited about what we're gonna really dive into today. But I don't know which direction to take it in, man. What y'all feeling? How juicy do you want to get? You want to talk about some real stuff, or you want to talk about some real stuff? Because either way, we get real.
I think since Unpopular brought up music, maybe we should start with a little bit of that.
With some music?
That hip hop.
Okay, we can start with we can start. The video starts with music, so I see where you're going with that. You are our new programming director. Appreciate that. So what we're gonna do, man? We're gonna get into a little clip that's talking about just what she said. It's actually music. The topic of the video we're gonna dive into is how the hip hop culture, how hip hop is affecting the culture. So we're going to go into a couple gentlemen. I think this is a show that has two guests. So you got a host and two guests, and the guests mainly are expressing their opinion on what they viewed and how they think hip hop is affecting our particular communities. So let's go into that. And then, as always, we're going to break out and talk about it in a second. Let's go.
That guy, Young Thug, is one of the biggest names in hip-hop, which many fans say is more than music. Hip-hop is often described as a culture that started about 30 years ago, born of the need for urban young people to share their experiences and how they felt about them. But a lot of people, including yours truly, believe that music, the majority of it, that we consider hip-hop today, has run so far off the rails, to the point where many believe that it is destructive and creating destructive behavior. Well, that's my opinion. So that's why we invited the experts.
Hold on, let's get out of that. He gave his opinion. I think we should be allowed to express our opinions as well. You guys weigh in on this, man. What do you think? Just looking back at the history of hip hop, right? He's referencing back to when hip hop kind of became mainstream, right? Back in the 80s, when it started to take over. And he's going to reference, you always hear like NWA referenced out of this as being one of the things that were kind of one of the songs that was looked at negative. You had Two Live Crew. You had those type of songs that contained more of a considered at the time X-rated content as opposed to it being R-rated at that time. And you can kind of see that that's changed today. But I want to know, what do you guys think? What how do you view the impact of hip hop in relation to our people in our community? Anybody can jump in on this.
Okay, man. Listen, all right, I started off. I feel like some people can't separate entertainment from real life.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So what you got going on is you got young teens ages from 14 to 18 who listens to this music, and the stats show that they 3 times more likely to get in a fight. They
Why
two and
why
a
is that?
half
Why is that?
uh, because they thinking that this is the lifestyle I should be doing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? This is cool. You know what I mean? They're 2.5 times more likely to get arrested.
Mm.
They're 1.5 times more likely to partake in illegal activities like underage drinking, experimenting with drugs, and unprotected sex. You know what I mean? You got 77% of underage teens that get in drug and alcohol use because the rappers are glorifying it in their idols.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
So the
do
rappers
I
the rappers are role models.
they are. They are.
Okay.
So do I think that plays a part in it? I think so.
Okay. Let's get Shade Queen, and then I got you coming up next. A chick that hustles. Go ahead, Shade.
Well, I guess I wouldn't say that the rappers should be role models, but I will say that just speaking to his point, I'll get to my other points as we get later on down into the video. But I do want to point out that the host was correct that what we used to hear with hip hop, even what we consider to be X-rated then, has just gone way above to a point to where it's just like glorified vulgarity, if you will. And I guess I would be a little more conservative than most when it comes to those types of things. I am not a conservative, but you know what I mean in thought.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to be misquoted. So I think that it's just the difference of people. What we were expecting in the 80s and the 90s from people, we don't expect that from this generation and the people who are putting out the music. So I don't expect much.
Gotcha. What about you, a chick that hustles?
So, blood is already boiling because first, hip hop is art, and art is a reflection of life. And I think that people a lot of times love to make hip hop the scapegoat for what really are societal problems. Yes, music has definitely changed, but that is a cycle that has existed since the beginning of time, right? So, when jazz music first came out, the generation prior to was like, oh my God, it's devil music. We can't let our kids listen to it. And then when that went from jazz to R&B, oh my God, it's devil music. It is a transition that has been happening since music came into play. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
for anyone to try and blame hip hop for what really are issues within our society that probably, I'm not going to say probably, I'm going to say they existed before hip hop did. I just think that's it's an easy out. It's an easy out.
No, I get it. I get it. But you do have to realize that those numbers that Mac was referencing earlier have kind of corresponded with the rise of hip hop. The span that hip hop has been here, those numbers have risen. We we do statistically have now more black males that are in the prison system than we had 30 years ago. We do have crime rates amongst our teens that have risen. Go ahead.
I absolutely agree with all of that. Like
Okay.
all of that has, those numbers have increased. But you know what else has increased? Our population has increased. The lack of access to things that we need in order to have basic necessities met, that has increased. So yeah, it's to me, it's coincidental that we are also seeing a change in music. But again, I think that's a reflection of what's happening in the real world. It's not people are making the music and all of a sudden everyone is brainwashed. If that's the case, then it's not just music, it's Hollywood too, because that done got real weird and explicit. And if you saw the last episode of P Valley, you know what I mean. It's none of it is what it used to be, but it's not just the fault of hip hop.
No, I got you. I got you. Let's dig back into this thing a little bit more, and then I'm gonna pick you up, Sinister, on the way out on the break. All right.
That I could ever understand it. To talk about this thing called hip hop today is Dwayne Michael.
Yes.
Dwayne, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for
Founder
having us.
of Should Could Dream Tour.
Yes.
And student activist Colin Bird. You saw him in our Your Voice inaugural show. Colin is, among many things, Mr. Black Student Union at the University of Maryland and chair of the membership committee of the NAACP's University of Maryland College Park branch. Listen, let's get this out the way. We know there are a few of them that produce good rap music.
Yes, yes.
Good lyrics,
A lot of them.
good
Yes.
values,
Yes.
good virtues. That's not what we're talking about
Yeah.
today because they're in the minority.
Yes.
Talk about this music and the impact that it's having.
It can have a terrible impact if used the wrong way. But if it's used in a positive way, like what we do with our Should Could Dream Tour, you can inspire a whole nation to work hard, never settle, dream big, and to accomplish extraordinary success.
That's another show. Tell us how it's used bad so we can learn, parents and young people, the dangers and what you can become if you don't really understand it. If you don't have somebody at home saying, while you listen to this, don't become this.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Well, hip hop, in a sense, they're just actors. And I feel as though that they're just putting on a front sometime to just prove their point. It's almost like in acting for a certain movie. Someone may play a role. And I feel as though that in the rap culture, a lot of these people are just playing certain roles. And those roles aren't being shown well. Like Young Thug is not a great representation of what hip hop is. We just heard some of the things that he says. I'm a stoner. Terrible thing. We don't want to, encourage marijuana use. But that's just one individual who is playing a role that's not necessarily showing what we really are as people.
You know, Colin, and I know you say colon. I find that interesting because I remember Snoop Dogg said once, yeah, I produced this, but I would never allow my children to listen to it.
Yeah.
Talk about this.
I'm gonna pause it right there. A couple things to unpack with that, man. Snoop Dogg doesn't want his children to listen to hip hop. The host sounds like he disrespected my man on his name. Just that whole thing, man. Let's dive into that. What's the takeaways y'all taking?
Yeah,
from
that was a
part?
little. That was.
Yo,
very
before
off-putting.
I'm gonna say this wasn't even supposed to be my point. Them dudes is goofy, man. Like they might be smart and intellectual, but they're goofy. You got some goofy dudes talking about hip hop. Is you crazy? Hip hop comes from the urban community. Hip hop comes from suffering. Hip hop was created to be an alternative and escape from all the crazy stuff in society. Hip hop is MCing, DJing, breakdancing, graffiti. The problem is you got these multi-million-dollar companies, the same companies that own BET, Viacom, and all them pushing that nonsense because it sells. To who? Who's the main consumers? Who are the main consumers? Billy Bob out there and stuff. Who thought it was cool? Like, wow, they were actors. Them dudes, gangsters don't rap. Gangsters don't rap. Real true to life gangsters don't rap. Good. They don't rap good. Let's say that. Yeah, they do rap. Let me take that back. We're in an era where, yeah, you can upload anything, but true superstars are not out there gang banging in the hood and this and that. And now
Let me say this, Sinister.
Okay,
Sinister.
yeah, let me stop.
Let me say this. Hip hop culture, you're talking about the performers. You're talking about the people who are putting out music. You're talking
I'm
about
talking
the
about the
people
whole
who are putting
culture
out.
too.
No, listen. You're talking about the people who are making the mainstay of the hip hop. The culture itself of hip hop is way bigger than just black people. The hip hop culture itself is those people who do consume hip hop.
At the end of the day, Them three dudes over there talking about what's wrong and right. What's wrong with Young Thug saying he's a stoner? Rick James had the song Mary Jane. Jimi Hendrix had Purple Haze. When hip hop does it, it's a problem. It's a problem because we doing it.
Young Thug is a bad example to take, brother. He's a bad example to take right now. Young Thug getting some
he's
major
saying
charges
he's
thrown
representing
at
hip
him.
hop wrong. Why is it wrong for young black men to express themselves any way they want?
I got you. I got you.
Young Thug is a bad example either.
Hold on, Matt. Hold on.
Perfect example.
Okay,
Because
why?
I'm like, who hasn't in the entertainment industry done some dirt or whatever they want to point fingers at? Or point fingers at every genre. Every genre got bad apples.
No, I get it. But we'll go into a little more details. Go ahead with your point, Chick That Hustles. Then I got you on Popular. Then coming back to you, Mac.
I was just gonna say, first, let me just say, when dude started talking and he cut old boy off and was like, "That's a different show," I went into my attorney bag. I wanted to be like leading the witness. You're trying to force this man to talk about what's negative in hip hop, and I think that's part of the problem. People completely glaze over all of the positive thing that hip hop artists do and that the culture has done for people in general. Right. And but aside from that, going back to what we were just talking about with Young Thug, like, I think it's crazy to me that people are really co-signing with, we'll just call it the Justice Department, with regard to him supposedly being a gangster or a gangbanger because of his lyrics. I think if I remember correctly, now I'm not one to I'm not one to try and promote the so-called freedoms we have in this country, because I don't necessarily agree that we are as free as they say. But if we have freedom of speech, I should be able to sing a song about what I've seen without it meaning that I've actually performed the acts that you all claim that I performed. Now y'all trying to lace together my lyrics with real life activities that I may or may not have actually participated in and call that a case and make me look like I am the worst person in the world. Short story, innocent until proven guilty.
No, I get you. But you also have to realize, I'm sorry for playing devil advocate today, guys. You have to realize a lot. There have been instances where people have implicated themselves. And to step back from that, a lot of these rappers become popular because they are rapping what you said earlier, art imitates life. They're rapping about real events that happened in their community. And as we know, everybody starts with their local community to build their base. So if I'm rapping about a murder that happened in my song, you can only get so mad if they come ask me some questions about it or think I have something to do with it. So just keep that in mind. Hey, Unpopular, go ahead and unload. You had something to say, brother. You got to come off mute. Oh, you double muted?
Can you hear me?
There you go. We can hear you now.
Okay. Okay. I got a whole lot because I can really, it'll take me a few because I think one thing I want us to start doing is at some point we got to hold some accountability when it comes to hip hop. We have to understand hip hop is not the same nature as it was previous before. You know what I'm saying? People like to say balance for one, but we don't have that balance now. Right now, we have different aspects of hip hop. When you think about conscious, then you got gangster rap. It's not that hip hop is the problem. It's a certain type of hip hop that's the issue. You know what I'm saying? Because Pharoah Monch, Mos Def, they don't talk about that. But then you got guys that's literally talking about, I ain't pushing dope. I ain't literally talking about murdering somebody. Now, the thing for me is psychologically, how is that art? How is that a product consciously when somebody is saying like, I'm literally catching bodies. I'm shooting my ops. That's if you take out the music, you have someone that's confessing to a crime. If you take out the music, just like an audiobook, when you sit down and you listen to somebody, you're listening for the encouragement, the inspiration that an audiobook gives you. Hip hop serves the same purpose. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop has the same effect, not purpose. It has the same effect. So when you think about, they do studies on when the child mind starts to form at, as someone mentioned, around 14, and they hearing these lyrics coming from an artist that we giving them trophy for making records on selling dope to the community, bro. We awarding them that. They getting Grammys and BET for a rap about shooting your people and selling poison. Come on. At some point, we just got to hold ourselves accountable. Like, yo, this type of hip hop is a problem. You know what I'm saying? But this hip hop over here, this is good. We need to push this type. But we don't, as my man said, but the higher ups know that, saying, nah, don't get in there dropping no dimes. You need to dumb it down. We've allowed them to convince us to dumb ourselves down and not raise our intellect and make this music that now half of them mumbling on the record. You don't even know what they saying because they too drugged up. They promoting drugs. They promoting big pimping. If you really look at the aspect of big pimping, it's human trafficking. That's what pimping is. It's human trafficking.
Hold on, Sin. Hold on, Mac is
If you
up
put it
next.
in the context, if you put it in the context of what it really is, then we'll see that, all right, some of this is a problem. We need to correct it. That's all.
No, it's a whole segment of conscious rappers out there that don't seem like sometimes they get the budget like some of these other ones are. And I don't know sometimes if those artists are maybe smarter contract wise. Just because not saying education goes with consciousness hand in hand, but maybe they're a little wise on the contracts. But go ahead, Matt.
One more comment on that. Just to kind of, since you made that point, think about the aspect of if rappers there are rappers that don't even want to be on this gangster stuff, but because of the hierarchy or the gatekeepers, they saying, well, nah, you got to be street. In order for you to be a rapper, you got to have credibility on the records that you're making. So that forces them. I got to make a decision. If I want to be big and I want to be amongst the young thugs and the I gotta be able to talk that talk and walk that walk. So now they start to get into this crime element just to get some on their record to justify that they are a real rapper. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. It's almost like in order for you to be a legitimized rapper, you gotta have some stripes, and that's what's hurt the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There's a formula behind the type of artists that they look for. That's definitely why you see some of the similarities in music that comes out. But go ahead, Mac.
Yeah, well, I mean, I ain't got nothing else to add. He Unpopular just made my point that I was about to come with.
Okay.
That's it right there.
Go ahead, Shade.
But I think overall, the question that I would have liked for them to express is exactly what facet of the culture are they talking about.
I got
because I do agree with A Chick That Hustles is that there are a lot of society issues that we have that we really can't just bottle up and put on hip hop, from broken families or just parents not being there, not because they don't want to, but they have to work. So they don't have the chance and the time to have the conversations that they need to reinforce to these kids that a lot of this is acting. Some of these people did live this, but some of these people are acting, and that's not what I want you to do. Listen, bop to it, move on. Don't emulate.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's a good point because, again, as Max said earlier, they're role models in some senses. But what you're speaking to is the parent being the role model. And if that's the formula, then you see a lot of times that the kids seem to be a little more successful later in life. Go ahead and check that hustles. And my bad, Sinister, I forgot about you, but we're coming back to you.
So yeah, that was the point that I was going to make, because Unpopular said, when are we going to start holding ourselves accountable? And the first thing that popped into my head was, well, who is ourselves? Are you talking about the rappers? Are you talking about the people in the industry? Because nobody is talking about parents. I have a 14-year-old, and I guess this is when y'all say their minds start forming, but in my experience, for him, it was around 10 or 11. And my 14-year-old, because I listened to whatever I wanted to, as long as it was deemed respectful, or the way I listened to it was respectful, not super loud on blast all in my mama house like she wasn't there. I could listen to whatever I wanted to. So I've handled my son the same way. And he listens to a whole lot of Chicago rappers that I didn't know anything about. What did I do as a parent? I started listening to their music. I started figuring out what things were appropriate or semi-appropriate for his age group. and what things I was okay with him listening to based on his own personal life experiences. Parents, I think, are not getting involved enough in what is going on in their kids' bedrooms, which is why we got high school kids going into elementary schools shooting folks up, and people claim they had no idea that their kid was capable of it. Now, that's not our community per se, but the point is people need to be up in their kids' mix, and they need to talk to them. With my 14-year-old, yeah, he's listening to 42 Doug and NLE Chopper and all these other rappers whose lyrics sometimes I can't understand. But you know what I do? I Google them. And then we have conversations about what he's hearing. But at the end of the day, even if I talk to him, that's not going to change the fact that at 21, he's going to have to fight like HE-double hockey sticks to get a decent paying job. At 25, he's going to encounter all types of just regular ass issues that this country has to present for him, and they talking about it in his music, and he's going to be prepared for it because I know what they're talking about, and he and I are talking about it too.
Yeah, but what you're doing is being an actual parent. So I would debate to you that doesn't happen as often as it needs to, and most of the time not as often as you think it does. Sinister, go ahead.
I was gonna jump off of what Popular said, and also what she said in terms of the accountability factor. I think it starts with the creators of hip hop, us. We got to hold each other accountable because this is $1 billion industry. And if it's $1 billion industry, that means the fans are making it going. The fans are the lifeline. If we really talk about hip hop culture, because hip hop's everywhere if you really want to be, if you want to think about it. So it all boils down to, it starts with us. But the problem is, we're cool with all the effery. We cool with all this ratchet stuff. Clearly the numbers say so.
Yeah.
What's the numbers say so? What's the top popular stuff? Negative stuff. And it's not only hip hop, but
hold on, Popular. Hold on. I agree 100%, Sinister. But let's dive back into this video real quick, and then we're gonna hop back out. Actually, real quick before we do, let's take a couple comments because they're building up over here. Facebook user definitely is over here agreeing with us. Hey, Facebook user, StreamYard.com/Facebook. Let us know who it is, man. Also, they said and they don't intelligence isn't promoted. So yeah, they definitely not promoting the ones that are speaking in the intelligent route. And it said it's considered boring and not hard enough. That is also true. True, but hip hop promotes the narrative, Queen. I think that's when you was talking earlier, a chick that hustle. Hip hop, in my opinion, I'll give you guys a little bit more of my opinion fully at the end. But yeah, there's definitely some promotion of a certain type of music within the industry. There's a formula that they go by. Also, parents are wrapped up in the facade as well on a major scale. Yeah, it's popular. So parents fall into that. And this is Fat Talk Radio. Hello. Hey, what's going on, Lady Fat? Glad you rocking with us. Definitely go hit StreamYard.com/Facebook. Let the other people know when we pop it up on the screen, man. But let's jump back into this video real quick, and we're gonna come back out and get some more comments. I hope I'm popular. All right, we're just looking at his car right now. Oh.
Are they acting? It's good enough for the public, but not good enough for their own family members?
I would say they are acting. Yeah. And what I would say as a whole is that hip hop has a negative, overwhelmingly negative impact on young people, especially young black people, young black males in particular. The reason that it has an especially negative impact on young black males is that these hip hop artists are predominantly black. They're predominantly black males. And so these individuals, these young people, are most likely to personally identify with them. And so the fast life that these rappers talk about a lot of times becomes a fantasy for these young people. And then when it becomes a fantasy, it turns into a reality. And then the fast life in reality, when you really do live it, a lot of times often means a fast death. Financially, economically, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and mentally. And therein lies the problem.
Yeah, but I also want to say that I think that hip hop has done phenomenal things for race relations at the very same time. Because, it's very hard if you go to a Jay-Z concert now, 75% of the people are going to be white. So it brings people together at the same time. Music is the one international language that we all speak.
And that's interesting. You're shaking your head. Tell us why.
I'm shaking my head for a number of reasons. First of all, I think when people argue that hip hop as a whole is good because by cherry picking the rare instances in which it does elevate our young people to a higher level of consciousness, to a higher level of social responsibility, I think that is the height of a disingenuous argument. It is akin to saying that crack cocaine is good for you because it gives you energy. Yes, it does give you energy, but when you do a holistic analysis of the impact of crack cocaine, the costs of smoking crack cocaine significantly outweigh any marginal benefit gained from increased energy. You see the promotion of misogyny. You see the promotion of violence. You see the promotion, in fact, of aggression. He talked about improving racial relations, but you actually see the promotion of aggression towards police officers. And sometimes when you listen to, for example, NWA back in the 1990s, they had a song called F the Police. Now, how in turn does that inform the interactions that our young black males are going to end up having with police officers? And a lot of times what happens is ultimately there's an inflammation in racial tension, and there's an inflammation and tension between our young people and the law enforcement authorities that are supposed to be protecting their communities.
I want to see.
So there's a little bit to take out of that, right? The first guest was trying to take it into using hip hop as race relations, right? And the second guest, just FYI, guys, transparency. This video is from 7 years ago. So even though they started out with Young Thug in the beginning, they had no idea that his situation was going to turn out this way, or that the topics were going to be probably directly relatable to Young Thug as a prime example for this. But the other gentleman, the student, who I'm sure is not a student by now, unless he's a lifelong learner, that he pointed out that the cost benefits of hip hop. I know a chick that hustle. You're advocating for the fact that hip hop is a great thing, and I think we all love hip hop. We all share a love of hip hop, so I don't think it's that. I think some people are, though, questioning the 30 years of hip hop. Look at where our community was then. Look where it is now, and some of the things that are promoted in the music and how they may be directly related. You guys brought up some good points about parenting, right? And I agree. Everything starts within the home. But if you listen to the lyrics and how they've changed, and let's just take addressing women, right? It has gotten more aggressive, and the subject of baby mama wasn't probably thought about back when the Sugar Hill gang was out there on Sugar Hill doing their thing, right? They had baby mamas in their community, but I think that community probably has a lot more now. And you can see how there is a correspondence between how that has been integrated into lyrics and how that, is kind of shown in our population.
I kind of think I'm on both sides of the fence on this situation. As an artist, I do understand being able to separate the art from other things. Okay. But I'm also a parent. My kids are young, but there's certain songs that they listen to. And when I go back and they listen to the radio versions when they ride with their father, that's them. Don't judge us. But when I go and listen to the real version and I find out what they're saying, I'm like, okay, I don't want you singing even the Baby Bop version of that, because that's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So it does make me wince, because the things that we talk about nowadays in music is much more expressive than it was before. But I still have to say that hip hop is not the main problem. It's the whole society, like I said, of us not being able to afford having one person in the house to work and the other person to be there to help and everything. Like, everybody's gone. And so a lot of these kids are raising themselves, and what they're seeing to be romanticized as cool and fun is what's been pushed in front of them in social media and all kinds of things that we didn't have 30 years ago. So all the great things that we had, we've got a lot of bad things now too. And technology has, I think, exacerbated that, because now kids are doing what? Their phones are their life, right? And they've got all kinds of negative things that they can see. So I don't know. I love your children, parent your children the best way you know how, but the world's going to hell. That's all.
Go ahead, Citizen.
Right here in Atlanta, we got the legendary Goody Mob, real street dudes all their music is majority positive. When they made their collaborations with Outkast, it was positive music. Public Enemy, Fight the Power, positive song. Hammer, when he was at his peak, We Gotta Pray to Make It Today, a positive song. There is positive hip hop out there. It's up to us, like I said, the accountability. We need to push that positive hip hop so there's that balance. Plain and simple, if you were to take away gangster rap, there would still be the problems in the community. A lot of the violence that's in the community is not because of these artists. Them artists are a reflection. Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of gangster imagery. Where do they pick these artists up from? They go to the hoods. They try to find out, and most of them are like most of them, they all getting busted because they're really out there.
Yeah.
It's not no problem to get rappers because most of the rappers are in a very violent urban community with we got a messed up economy. Yeah, the music's gonna get worse. If we don't step in, the elders, everybody who's in their 60s, 50s, and 40s, if they just brush this under the rug, it's gonna get ugly. Because hip hop is at the age of 60 now. A lot of the grandparents and everything, they was the ones that was there. And if they're not there trying to monitor it, mentor, and be a part of it, like as a community, then it's gonna keep continuing because that's what's popular. It's hard to fight against what's popular.
I get it.
Not saying not to fight against it. I'm saying
let's take a comment real quick, Sinister. Quinteria said, agreed. Definitely agreeing with everything that you have to say. And I agree, right? The people who started out this journey for us are older now. But you also have to agree that we talk about bubbles all the time. Those people are probably in their bubble for the time of their era. They probably still listen to hip hop. They still listen to other genres that they listen to around that time. I don't know that they're necessarily all of them are investing their time in the younger music. So I do have to question how much of a connection they have on today's music. But real quick, a chick that hustles. What you got? And I got you coming up, Shay.
Also, because you guys are referencing statistics and how certain things have increased, I think that it is easy to be like, well, hip hop came about at this same time. Well, hip hop was born out of the crack epidemic. So yeah, we saw an increase in the numbers of people who were incarcerated because of that. And then shortly after that, we got the 94 crime bill. So we see more of an influx in prison numbers. So again, if we go back, and I agree with you, Sinister, you take away the music, these same problems still exist because hip hop didn't create crack and hip hop didn't flood crack into our communities. So regardless of whether people started rapping about it or not, that happened. And the end result is a lot more people got arrested. A lot more families got broken up. A lot more sons and daughters are being raised without their parents. And that is ultimately the real issue, not the music that is being sung about it.
No, I feel you. Hey, CeCe, weigh in on this, and then I'm gonna give my final opinion, and then we're gonna fall over into the next video. But we didn't get a chance. I know you dropped off, but you're back. So weigh in with us, CeCe.
I mean, I agree with everybody else. You can't blame, like you said, we all are a part of the social media. I mean, as far as rapping and everything else like that. So we can't just blame them. Like I read or seen how Cardi B said on one of the social medias, she's like, y'all parents let y'all kids listen to me. I'm not trying to be y'all role model. I'm not trying to be your kids' role model. I'm just being me, and this is what I sing about, but I'm not their role model. That's not what she's trying to be. So I understand it, and I agree with everybody else too.
I feel you, and I agree with Cardi B, but I also think she's wrong. And let me say why. I agree with everything that you guys have said up here. I believe that parents are the first and the last person that should be touching their kid and putting that impression on the kid. They should be the mainstay in their lives to guide them, right? They're the captain of that boat, at least for the first 18 years for that kid. And music didn't cause those problems, right? I agree with everything you guys have said. Here's where we branch off. I think music has exasperated that situation, and let me tell you why.
I love that word. I love that word.
Let me tell you why. Right? parents don't parent anymore. Parents are learning, they're losing the art of parenting. And why Cardi B and so many of your favorite rappers we've heard over the years make that direct quote that I'm not a role model. Unfortunately, Young Thug is, think about this. That boggled me just thinking it. Young Thug is a male role model that some kids only know, or one of, that they really trust within their mental space. So think about that. Think about if that kid is growing up in the projects without a male figure in the household, and mama is letting him listen to whatever he wants. Realize that he is impressionable, and that is affecting his actions sometimes, right? It makes it a lot easier if every song I listen to talked about rape all day. I think it would be easier for me to rape someone. And that's one of the core principles that I go against and that most people go against. But if the media bombarded and made it okay to say rape on songs, right? And to detail rape on songs, you have to realize that as that rape culture would increase because people would become more comfortable with it. So if that point is being true, you do have to realize some of the other counterpoints are going to be true as well. People are more used to violence because of the violence that they heard, because again, that's in popular music. Everybody's dancing with me and singing about shooting somebody. So it surprises none of us when somebody gets shot for the 4th of July. That wasn't going on as much when hip hop started. So that's my point. We have to do a better job at parents, but at the same time, you have to realize there's a formula that they're putting out that contains a lot of aggression, a lot of hostility, and a lot of violence. And that violence is trickling down to our kids. So that's just my point on it. Everybody has some very valid points. I respect everybody's point on it, but realize that mass media has made us all impressionable to whatever agenda they want to put out and
That's my point.
pass.
Yes.
And that seems to be an agenda to stick to that type of formula. So there's a lot of good positive rappers they could have been put out and made bigger than anybody out there, but for a reason they haven't gotten there. Go ahead, Matt.
Man, they don't use that word rape, but you got like Rick Ross gave her a pill and she ain't even know.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I agree. But you do pay attention to, we can say nigga, nigga, nigga all day, right? But if I want to say certain words that correspond with the LGBT community, those don't make it in the songs. If I want to say certain words like the direct word rape, those don't make it in the song. So you do have to question why certain things are being filtered out, and yet certain things that could help our community, if we just kind of eliminate from our verbiage and our everyday hearing, could be impactful as well. But appreciate everybody's comments and opinions on that, man. That went a little deep. So let's go light real quick, man. And if you're watching this on Facebook, let's do a quick reset. If you're watching this on Facebook, the Roundtable Music Facebook group. If you're watching this on IModelBooth YouTube. If you're watching this on Where It Begins Magazine YouTube. Excuse me. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Anchor on the recast. You might not hear this next part because there's some music playing in the background, but we're going to play a little video of a lady who is shampooing her boyfriend's hair. And she's shampooing her boyfriend's hair because it seems like she caught him texting someone else. So let's hold on. Let me clear this other one out. And let's get into this. And this one's a quick one. So we're going to let it play. We're going to play most of the way. I'm going to pause it before her little recap at the end.
I'll brush your hair, help you put your do-rag on. Wanna put her up, want a manicure. Baby, I'm yours, I wanna cater to you, boy. Let me cater to you, cause baby, this is your day. Anything from the man, baby, you know me away. Got your slippers, your dinner, your dessert, and so much more. Anything you want, let me cater to you. Inspire me from
Hold on, man. Hold on. So she replaced the shampoo in the bottle with Nair. Those of you who are familiar with Nair, that is a product that removes hair. I don't use it personally, but I'm sure some of you guys out there have experience with it. Want to ask the question?
I have.
I believe you. I believe you. You seem like a well kept woman. So I want to ask the question, man. Uh, why? First of all, why is that cool to do that?
It's not,
Even if you're angry. Hold on,
I,
hold on. And second of all, why record it?
honey, because that's what they do. Because that's what these babies do.
They'll do anything for clout.
Anything for likes. But I do have a question in using that product because I have sensitive skin. It will eat you up. So I'm curious as to how long she had this in his hair and if this is real. Okay. Because if you have ever used the product, you know that after a couple of minutes, it hurts. So you can't just sit. He's sitting there. It's almost like a perm for those people who used to get perms. So I'm just kind of wondering how he was sitting there and he didn't feel it. But for sakes and purposes of this video,
smell it, because you know Nair stinks.
yes, it does smell too. It has a different smell. But I will say
Didn't he
that
say
it is a
something about how
possibility
it
that it
felt
could have happened.
in the video?
We don't have the reaction video for him.
But there
I
are people
remember
who are
Nair.
vindictive enough to do it. So for all sakes and purposes, this is something that needs to be discussed because some people take things entirely too far.
Okay, my mom used to have bottles of that in her bathroom. Like that's my mom. She would have it wide open. I think it was a pink bottle with the tip up. I always remembered it when I would try to get my toothbrush. That nasty smell. No disrespect. I didn't use it. I just remember that nasty smell. So you got a point there. That's why I ring an alarm when you say, like, hold up. He didn't know that was it. What shampoo smells like that in your hair, in dreads? So, but this is going to lead to something about this generation. They're doing anything for clout. They're doing anything for them likes. That's what the value system is with this generation. They look like they're young and stuff like that. But on the flip side, you doing stuff like that, you got to be careful and expect to get what you got. I hope he really was cheating if she filed some Texas stuff for him to lose his dreads.
Yeah.
Because what if he didn't? Was it?
Let me just say this real quick
If it was
to
an
address.
assumption, you're like, oh, he texted. That's.
So I was gonna say this. I don't know about the smell, but as far as you guys questioning he didn't feel it, you're probably putting Nair on some fine hair on your leg. There's a lot of skin being touched with that. The gentleman looked like he had quite a bit of undergrowth on his head. So if he's putting it up there, or she, excuse me, is putting it up there on his dreads, it might not have tingled all the way down to his head yet.
This is true.
Let me just say, I know y'all just recently met me and you see me with my short hair, but I had locks not once but twice for 10 years both times. And one thing people with locks do not do is play about their hair. So the audacity of her, if it is real, to think that was okay. And if she was my friend, I would have gone bananas for him. If he was my friend, I would have tapped that for him. Like you just that is beyond disrespectful to someone who goes on the journey that it is to, like, there's no way on God's good green earth she would ever hear two words from my mouth ever again as a friend or as a
Okay, you just turned into a robot on us real quick.
The thing, well, one thing, man, I'm pressing charges. That's assault. You know what I'm saying? Because and I don't know what happened after the video or whatever, but I gotta commend him that he didn't react aggressively in that video. You know what I'm saying? Because if he done something thinking it was comical or some get back, but if he had turned the other way and responded, he would have been in more trouble because of it. And then we'll follow up under, the protect thing. You know what I mean? Protect black women, yada yada. Here, so she is too much. It's just too much. Like, I definitely would have pressed charges. I'm just gonna leave it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Agree.
Either that or I'm out, or we definitely done. You know what I'm saying?
Matter of fact, hold on, Shade. I got you coming after this. Let's finish this up because this is the after reaction of the young lady after she did what she did.
Hey y'all, so when he found out what I had did to his head, he left. And I haven't seen him since. And today I got this picture. So he wound up having to get his head shaved. And I feel so bad, y'all. Like, I really feel bad about it. Like, I really, really do. But he don't want to talk to me or nothing. And y'all please go to his page. Y'all plead with me. Go tell him I'm sorry.
No.
Tell him I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say except I'm sorry. I really felt like when it started, his head started coming out, I felt like I went too far. But now I really feel like I went too far. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Y'all go tell him I'm sorry, please. Help me. Come on, babe. I'm sorry.
Shay.
Yeah,
Shay.
I'm
no.
here.
Shay.
Oh no.
Hold on, sis.
No,
Shay.
no.
Hold on, Shay. You going to his Facebook or his TikTok page to lobby for her?
The things I wanted to say to you just then. First of all,
She asked nicely.
I want to talk about that fourth nail that's missing. I want her to get that fixed. That's not my business. But while you're worried about his hair, you need to worry about your nail game, girl. But I'll go a little further. Even if this was a joke, the problem I have is that there are people who do stuff like this.
And that's what we're gonna talk
people
about.
over. They put trackers on people's vehicles. They do all kinds of crazy stuff. And just like Unpopular said, now if somebody choked you out because you have cut off their hair that they have grown for spiritual reasons, religious reasons, or just because they wanted to, and then they box you in the face. Now we on here with a GoFundMe to try and get you a new grill. And we call him wrong. I won't be a part of that. No, ma'am. You get whatever. Young ladies, if you're watching this, you got to
I
remember.
got you coming up after Sinister, Unpopular.
In certain positions, you're going to have to hold yourself accountable. If she would have came over there and be like, come on, girl, let me get you some ice. We'll go to the dentist tomorrow. But you deserve that. And that's how I feel.
Unfortunately, while you know the friend is taking for ice, the ice cocktail for the eye, he probably would have been in jail had he reacted like that. So as Unpopular said, I'm glad he didn't react either. I don't know how. If I would have invested, like you said, spiritually, time wise, financially, I know I would be heated. But what you got, Sinister?
At first, we was like going back and forth, me and Shade, about if this was real or not. Once I saw that female's video, I see this is very real. That was, you could just read that all day. Like she just got ignorant, and you got to be careful. You don't know who.
Yeah.
Forget about him. You never know what loved ones would have felt like. That's a violation. I'm not saying who's right or wrong. I don't know the story, but clearly he didn't do something that foul. If you saying sorry, you just been violating him and disrespecting him, and you wanted to take it further. Except you realize, like, whoa, he finally walked away. Like, this is the big one. Sometimes people do stuff out of emotion, not knowing there's a consequence. He might forgive her, but I don't see him coming back. Like you said, that's a journey. That was probably his identity. You stripped that man of his manhood.
Yeah.
And you want to go online and beg people to get him back with you. She lost her mind. And they need to start being held accountable for that effery. It might be funny on Love and Hip Hop. That's not real. That's not real. That's not real. That people think this ratchet stuff's real. They don't play that in the hood. They're not hiring hood folks to be in the reality shows. Who in the hood could you do that stupidness to? Cut their hair off. She's lucky he's soft.
Listen,
well,
that goes back.
Let me
sin. That goes back to the point that I was trying to make with the last segment, guys. People are impressionable by mass media. You see everybody doing crazy stuff on TikTok. Now, all of a sudden, every crazy girlfriend is driving cars through restaurants. Since I've seen it about 5 times now, that seems to be something that's going on. People look at other people's craziness and they either try to top it or at least replicate it. But go ahead, Unpopular. Go ahead. You have some thoughts on it.
I like what you did, that little piece in that. Yeah, I like that with the influence thing, because it applies to hip hop too. The thing is 2 things. One is that, like my man said,
there may have been some sentimental value in him growing his hair. He
Yeah.
might have invested 5-6 years
Listen,
into that growth.
listen how popular his mama might have put him, or a family member might have put him on that journey, because dreads run in families a lot of times.
Right, exactly. Like Rastafarian, you know what I'm saying? You know, things like that. It could have been based on that. And she violated him when she did that. You know what I mean? The second thing, and I definitely think that this is why, and when I think about it in perspective, is that she chose to humiliate him.
Mm-hmm.
She did this with intentions to humiliate him in front of people worldwide, like everywhere. Everybody saw this. And for him, that's not love. I'm up here confessing my love, taking care of you, and you choose to use me as a prop for some comedy and laughter, and you humiliated me. There's no way I can stay with you. Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I think that's why he was like, no, bitch, excuse my language. No, I'm not coming back. What the hell you think this is? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's a popular trend nowadays for again, for people to do whatever for whatever reason they feel like they need to get some retribution for. They feel like they need to record it and they need to document it and put it out for the world to see. And that's a crazy trend. Why do you think that trend is, Mac? Why is that so popular right now?
I knew that was gonna happen.
No idea, man.
Paycheck.
When I see this, I think of 3 words, man. I think
What's
of
that?
ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
I think of trifling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think of ratchetness. And for her to do this in the first place and then turn around and say she regretted is crazy to me, because she is pulling out this man's dreads at the same time she's chuckling.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a person that believes that every decision you make has a consequence, and him leaving her was her consequence. You know what I'm saying? Now she's sorry and she's begging him, begging people to go to his page and let him know how sorry she is. Uh, the actuality of it is, man, you got 1 in 4 women, which is 25%, and 1 in 7 men, which is 14%, have experienced severe physical violence by being in a intimate partnership with somebody.
Domestic.
Domestic.
So she should be glad that this wasn't one of those guys and chose the high road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the taping of things is we're romanticizing the fact that we like to humiliate people. And there's money in it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how many reels do you see of people who have fallen, or, that we laugh at or whatever?
Yep.
And so it's a Black Mirrors kind of thing. I don't know if you guys have watched the show, but it's a great show. You need to check it out on Netflix. It's kind of like the Twilight Zone, but it shows you how you merge humanity with technology, and it gets real screwy. And that's kind of what it is that now, instead of it just being like America's Funniest Home Videos, they're actually doing traumatic stuff and saying, hey, look at what I did. And it's gotten so cool and so popular that now we have fake videos of people doing things like the whole baby mama bringing the food, or, the baby dad. So now that trauma is things that we want to see. And that's troubling.
And laugh at it.
Yeah. It's a little troubling.
Has it kind of falls in line with the entertainment industry really selling people's trauma. Like, you can't make it on a reality show if you don't have a sob story to tell. They're not gonna let you compete or participate unless you can win over the hearts of the American people, but you got to be able to make them feel bad for you or pity you. And
right. Remember, I was told that I was too classy for TV.
Right. So, and it between people getting paid for these pranks, which I think became really popular with that MTV show that came out. But now you can do them yourself. Before, you had to hope for a chance to make it on the show, America's Funniest Home Videos or whatever. You were hoping that you could, win win the popularity contest and get the money. Now, all you got to do is post it on TikTok, and it is surprisingly easy to get a viral video on TikTok. I mean, much easier than Instagram or Facebook. I'm not sure what they're doing over there, but if you do some super dumb you are likely to go viral.
Shout out to TikTok.
Now, I got a question.
What's that?
Everything that you just said, how does that not apply to hip hop and gangster rap?
So here, let me say something real quick. Again, there's a lot of parallels that I think sometimes, and I'm not speaking for you, a chick that hustles. I'm just speaking for me. There's a lot of parallels that I realize every day that people don't put together. Mass media influences 99% of the options you have, not what you do, but the options. But let's think about it. If there are only two options and everybody that looks like you and then those around you and that you ask their opinion are looking at marketed materials towards them, you have a much greater chance of picking that. So there's a lot of social engineering that goes into mass media. But go ahead, chick that hustles. You were about to say something?
I was just gonna say, to be clear, I'm not saying that hip hop music or the content is not problematic, but I don't think it ends and begins there. And even with this social media craze for doing silly stuff or doing hurtful things or whatever, it still goes back to people's households and how parents are parenting. And a lot of times it's a situation where a lot of parents are still very, very immature because hell, they had their baby when they was 14.
Correct.
So
Now,
Correct.
I do now real quick. I mean, if I could just interject real quick.
Go ahead.
I think now the parenting, yes, I will agree with the.
He got me on the edge of my seat. Like he looked like he about to say it right now.
You about to drop that knowledge, like.
Yeah, listen, man. The government is watching. He got way too much knowledge. They shut him down. They shut him down. Listen.
There you go.
Lost my connection.
Okay.
I thought the guys in the black suits got you.
I do agree with the parenting. You know what I'm saying? But I do have to.
Yeah. Nah.
it must be too good. Like
it's too juicy.
It's too good.
It's too juicy. Let's take a comment real quick. Doris said she wasn't sorry. That was a lame apology. You are right. Also, if you notice, her delivery method was also to go back to social media to deliver an apology. I don't think that can always be taken as the most sincere way to apologize to a person.
Dated picture of him, like she wanted to continue to humiliate him. Like, now look at him.
No, she wants to continue to bother him. That's why she told everybody to blow his page up. But hey, Unpopular, we got you back, man. Go ahead and continue on that thought process.
Take yourself off mute.
There you go.
All right. I don't know what's going on. Signal fluctuating. Well, all I was saying is that, if my dad is a fireman and I want to be an NBA player, I got to look at other NBA players to influence me or encourage me or inspire me. Mm-hmm. So the same thing, I think, when it comes to any other things, that I had to stop solely blaming the parent, because some kids come from two-parent household, they live in the suburbs, parents providing them everything that they want. Mm-hmm. But when they go out into the world, they have to adapt to the situation that is out there. Yeah. So they have to assimilate themselves in order to, let's say, so I don't get bullied, I assimilate into a certain group or a certain subculture that's in the schools or in the community. So we have to identify actually what's going on, even though the parents may not even know. Like the other, and not to throw this in, well, to mention it, like the other day I saw a video of a girl, she was doing drugs in school. You know what I'm saying? Like, her parents might be providing her everything, but when she goes out there and she's with her peers, this is what they're doing. She has to be strong enough to not be influenced by it, but there is social peer pressure, and I think it's heightened through social media. And I had to realize, like, I can't solely blame the parent. I have to make sure that we understand as a community, it's an inherent responsibility that we play a part too. You know what I'm saying? And I think that a lot of times we do that we say, oh, well, it's on the house, it's on the parent, sort of as a scapegoat that, nah, our community got issues as a whole and we need to fix that also. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
no, it's the chicken and the egg, right? Like we can't just blame TikTok or Facebook or Instagram. We can't just blame rap music or rock music or any music, right? At the end of the day, it does, as we've already said, starts at the home front. It starts in what you're teaching and what values you're instilling on your kid. But as I said, parenting is hard, right? Adulting is hard, and now parenting is hard. So I think some of those people, when they're becoming adults, they're losing the art of parenting. Grandma's in the club, mama's in the club, baby's just wherever the baby's at. That's where we are a lot of times in our communities these days. And I'm using club as a metaphor, not saying the direct club. Whatever you're doing to take you away from being a parent to your child.
Working.
Yeah, no, and again, yeah, working might be your club.
Gas is too high, rent
And
too
I
high.
agree. And a totality when when people say like what's going to make our people better, that's a hard question, right? Our people being better is going to make our people better, but there's so many outside factors that I think we just need to be aware of. We need to start having the conversations. We need to flesh out the dialogue and figure out what the root is before we can get to the point of offering solutions. We don't all agree we have a problem, just like tonight, right? Any general thing that we come up with is very hard to get 7 black people to be on the same page about anything. And you can take the various subjects. So I think that shows you a lot of what we have going on in our community.
You know what? That situation that we seeing right now, this is a problem that's hardly addressed. This video is a problem that's hardly addressed. Certain females who abuse their male significant other. Females that abuse their man, the same way they talk about domestic violence. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
It's just
It goes
that the
both
domestic
ways.
violence, it goes both ways, but you just know, you hear the males that do the abusing on the females. That's the one that's talked about a lot. It's rare you hear that. That's a discussion. That's men that's getting beat down. You got chicks that's beating their dudes down. You wouldn't think so. These dudes could be big and bad on the street, but they're shorty smacking them around and this and that. I'm talking about this dude could be a good dude, but just getting done dirty. This is just one example of that. I just, me in my heart, I don't think this was her first time doing something disrespectful. This was just one of them that was filmed. That's how I look at it.
This was the time she felt like she went too far. So yeah, I doubt that was the first time.
And see, we have to understand too. And I'm sorry, I ain't mean I should raise my hand.
Go ahead.
We have to understand too. Women know that. Some women know a man cannot hit me, so I can do whatever I want to him. Because if he touch me, all I gotta do is call the police. So, as my man mentioned, there are also women that are literally out here abusing a man. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that you can't do nothing to me, and if you do, like I said, you want.
It's dang, I don't know what happened. But listen, man, it's not just women and it's not just black women. So let's not make this and not that's where Unpopular was taking it, right? I'm not trying to speak for him or assume that. But I want to point out when he said that it's not just women, it's not just black women. It's a whole culture around people who think they can do whatever they want to do without any repercussions. In our community in particular, because of our relationship with law enforcement, I'll say it that way, we tend to pay it in taxes, but we tend to use it less, right? We tend to not want to call the authorities in the proper way to handle it. So oftentimes when we do deal with authorities, this is an uncomfortable situation because it's our first time. We've never called them, they get called on us type of situation. So I think that's very prevalent that a lot of people do things and think there's not going to be any repercussions in this day and age.
Well, like I said at first,
thank God
that he didn't dot her eyes, because had it been,
you just said what I was gonna say.
That I know, baby, and like I said, it wouldn't have been no poor me. I would have been like, girl, listen, I'm sorry, come get this ice. and we're gonna do what we're gonna do for your
It
face.
might
Don't bother him no more, girl. This is a teachable moment because that's what we need sometimes. You don't always have to go to the court systems. There's some teachable moments in your life that you learn. You having your teeth knocked out is a teachable moment. And I'm not trying to say that violence is the answer, but I'm going to tell you that it's possible.
right.
I'm saying that he should have pressed charges, like Unpopular said
Absolutely.
early, because y'all know my stance. I will press charges. I pay some real taxes. I have a real house. I have real income and
And you
real
should.
assets that I will really get upset if you try to come this way. So I
Yeah,
will
that's fair.
dial those 3 numbers really quick
I
and
would have
record
definitely.
you at the same time.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
I don't, and I think sometimes the problem is as Black people, we don't again feel comfortable with that system, so people don't learn their lessons. There are ways to take care of it, but I think she should have had some repercussions, right? If you want to handle it with dotting the I's, I can't agree with
Definitely
that.
a strong
But
hug.
I think it should have been responded to in some type of shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah.
Or guess what? She's not gonna learn the lesson, and she's gonna make another video with the new dude doing
Well,
something dumb.
I'm just trying to be
I'm
real.
gonna
Strong,
No.
strong
Yeah,
hug. She would have got a
Be
strong
careful
hug.
in the real world.
I'm
Everybody is not as civilized as these gentlemen, young ladies. Listen to me, Mother Shay, Auntie Shay, however you want to refer to me. Don't be out here playing with nobody's hair. I'm telling
all
you.
right. Okay, I'll
Period.
say this.
See, hold on,
As an
sinister, real quick. So you in a, not we ain't gonna use your current relationship, right? But you in a relationship, you wake up or you getting your hair braided, washed, taken care of, and you look out, and all them years that you done put into growing your hair out so that you can get it braided up is just gone. What's your first thought?
Like I said, I know the relationship is truly over. Because I'm looking so deep into that, like this was planned. You planned out of all the things you could do in your mind. You was like, you know what? While you're sleeping, no, you planned that. Listen, we talk about what she did. You planned that. You snuck that on me. Like everything's all good. You want to shampoo my head, like we all good on good terms, and then
Extra
I got to
love.
deal with the shock of that. It's over. Like I guess that's your way of telling me it's over. Because like what he said, and then you recorded it for people to see. You are trying to show people it's over between me and you. Like you telling other dudes like I'm available. Look at how I humiliated my man while he was sleeping. He's such a soft dude. I'm recording you. I'm trying to show you how soft he is. That's her way of saying she's available. The problem is nobody took her in because they saw that. They were like, wow, you could do that to him. You could do that to me. He got history with her, and look at what she did.
She got a new dude. Trust and believe. There's some thirsty ones out there. And they're like, it's gonna be different.
I'm not even. Hey,
but
good
whomever
luck.
he is,
All I
can
can
he
say is
get
good-
her nail fixed? I'm just asking. Can you please get her nail
Shade.
fixed?
Shade. All y'all on the panel, let me say this. I know some Jamaicans. I know the Caribbean folks where that's religion. I'm warning anybody who's watching, who's getting ideas. Do not do that to one of them. Their family will have a field day with you.
Yeah, their family.
Africans, you chop their heads off. Their family are going to sit down to figure. I'm telling you from at least my family, my country, you chop some hair off, they're always going to put in your head to get revenge. You do that to Asians. It's kind of real like, yeah, that's American stuff. Let's generalize this. That's American stuff. You cut someone's head off, that's ghetto stuff. Don't bring that mess to the Caribbean, the European, or Africa. Keep that in the hoods of America.
Don't bring that nowhere.
That will get you killed everywhere else. You won't be found. You cut someone's hair off, it's in the Bible how violating that is. I forgot. 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
We find the idea of it's trauma. We get off on trauma. You know what I'm saying? You know, we find trauma for some reason comedic or funny or enticing.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this though, Unpopular. Why does our trauma seem to be the ones that go viral? I get it, right? A lot of trauma from all communities. If it's funny enough, it happens. But why does it seem like our trauma seems to go the most viral? And before you answer it, I want to assume things go viral because people talk about it, right? And for us to talk about it, it has to resonate with somebody. So why does it resonate with us to go viral?
Because I think part of that is somewhere we've been tricked into, always been entertained by humiliation. If you look at blackface, or not blackface, but when you used to have the old shows, and they
Blackface?
not blackface, excuse me, I corrected myself. When they used to, I don't know what the jigaboos,
The minstrel shows.
shows.
Yeah, that
And
was blackface.
it was the humiliation, and we've always been, even though that was messed up, you know what I'm saying? And since then, we've always, anytime that we've tell stories, we make movies, everything has to come from an aspect of, to entertain. And in that entertainment, it has to be only if you're humiliated. You know what I'm saying? Humiliate yourself, and you'll get paid. And we've been doing it over the years, man. And I think
we don't
it's just
see that in hip hop. I'm sorry, I'm just going back. I'm being messy.
It's all related. It's all related.
That's why I rock with you.
I would add to what Unpopular said. Like, if we're asking why our trauma seems to go viral, the reality of the situation is that it's been that way since slavery. Like, that's where picnics came from. They used to get together and watch tortured and traumatized. It is historical. It's something that's been happening for ages, and it doesn't stop just because we have technology and videos. That just makes it even worse. I will also say too, though, referencing your comments about the bubble, what we see go viral may also be a reflection of our bubble. I know for me, my Instagram is set up for me to follow things that I am interested in. So I don't take interest in a lot of things that go on outside of my community. So what goes viral for me is going to be within the scope of what I'm interested in. It's going to fit within my bubble. I would say that I have definitely seen videos of other people outside of our community that have gone viral that are probably
Man, this is a bad day for technology. Or is it just the people in the car? Word to the wise, man. This show is so serious. You want to stay seated for it.
Nah, Shamonte was in his apartment, but I think that he's having some technical.
No, he was driving earlier. He was driving earlier.
But now he's messaging us saying that he's having some issues.
No, I get it. No, we appreciate him for getting in and rocking with us for as long as he could, man. Listen, man, we're going to have to wrap this thing up. But I do want to go ahead, man, and just get into just a little bit more of the conversation of, we've talked about social media and we've talked about music today, right? And kind of their impact. And I think through the course of the conversation that we all do realize how these things impact us, or they impact our community. So I guess I want to know for you guys, we're gonna round it out like this. We're gonna have everybody give what is the advice that you're giving out in relation to these things. What's the advice? Because I know we got all parents, I think, on this board. We are part of the people who are responsible for the next generation, so we are shaping those young minds right now as we speak. So what's the advice that you guys are giving out? What do you say to your kids? What do you say to the teenager in your family that doesn't live with you, and maybe in those scenarios to where they're listening and shaping the person who they are becoming in those situations?
As for me,
oh, okay, go.
As for me, I go ahead and go before this thing overheat. But as for me, I mean, we just have to keep on pushing positivity things towards our kids. That's all that we could do, and pray over them. So that's all that I can do for mine. Like I said, I always pray over them, and sometimes I even do little motivational cards, to say, "Hey, you are beautiful. This is what I think of you. No matter what, at the end of the day, you are beautiful." I might just put it in the mailbox, and when they check it, they be like, "Wow, I do little things like that just to give them that inspiration, because it's so much mental is in all the kids and parents today. And us and them is just this new life that we live, So at the end of the day, I think kids still going to be kids at the end of the day. But the only thing we can do is pray over them and try to teach them the best that we can. That's it.
I got you. I got you. So
All I
CeCe
can do.
gonna write the positive message on your lunch that's gonna continue to build you up to the strong person you're gonna end up at. I like it. I like it. Go ahead,
Shady
Shay.
parent here. Shady parent here. Hey guys, hope everybody's doing well. This is Auntie Shade. It's a true story. I was 16 years old, and I wasn't a bad kid, but I was extremely mischievous, and I knew everything. Right? I knew what to do. All right, and I didn't have that kind of relationship with my parents where I could say whatever I wanted. There were repercussions, but this day I was on one. And my dad, for some reason, he wanted it to be a teachable moment. So he let me get some things off my chest. And I was telling him when I became 18, I was going to do this. I was moving out and I was going to do this and I was going to do that. And he was just shaking his head and listening. And I remember once I got done, he said, good, because when you're 18, you will be grown. And I've done the best that I can for you, and I'll always love you. And as long as you are willing to accept whatever consequence comes as a result of your actions, then I will be here for you. It deflated. All the air came out of my chest because he was basically telling me that if you want to rob a bank, go ahead. But when you go to jail, you're on your own. You want to shoot somebody, you can do that. So I was thinking being an adult was going to be all fun and doing whatever I want. And the truth of the matter is you can, but there are consequences. And as long as you're willing to do that and live with the long-standing consequences of your actions, then live your life. You only have one to live. But let me just tell you, that's why your parents are trying to tell you, and all of us that are on here, be careful what you do, who you're around, and who you allow to influence you, because there are consequences for your actions. And sometimes we as parents can't get you out of them. Be blessed.
Appreciate that. A chick
like
that
that.
hustle.
Oh, huh?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just about to ask if I could go next because I'm about to be in the mountains and I don't know how long I'm gonna have this signal.
Yeah, no, we know you're going to the ball tonight, so we'll let you get off real quick before before those mice turn into stallions and you start gleaming over there.
I take every opportunity. I'm a mom and I'm a teacher. So I'm in contact with kids all the time. So one thing I would say is, we need to get back to being a village. This whole idea that nobody can tell you how to parent your kids or help you parent your kids is a knife in the belly of our community. But then too, I always like to tell the kids that I come in contact with, for real, take your time growing up. You only have 18 years to be a kid, but people literally live to be 80, 90 years old. So the whole rest of your life, you have to be an adult. Why are you in a rush? Enjoy being a kid while you have a chance to be a kid. And yes, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to make some of the same mistakes that I made. So if I'm giving you advice, even if you don't want to take it, hear it.
Yeah.
The end.
It is. Go ahead, Mac.
Oh man, I think it's all about when you're talking about social media and internet, you gotta monitor that thing, right? So you gotta set boundaries, you gotta know what your kid is on, and you gotta hold them to that standard as a parent. So once you let that get out of hand, that's when they start bumping into stuff that they shouldn't bump into. Know what I mean? So long as I think long as you keep that standard alive, you and your kid will be all right.
Feel it? I feel it. What about you, Sam?
Okay, so now we are in the era of the social media, the internet. This stuff is out there. Whatever you see, when they say seek and you shall find, it's there on the internet.
Yep.
Me being a parent, the person I was before I had my kids, I was a little bit not caring about consequence. Not saying I was reckless. It was more or less like, I'll take whatever consequence happens, the street term, whatever happens, it is what it is. Once I had my daughters, first my daughter, even now that I have another daughter, my consequences affect them. So I gotta move with a way sharper focus with things that don't affect them. Basically, when I sit down and talk with my kids like they grown, I don't underestimate a child's mind. So basically what I tell them when it comes to I don't know what kind of peer pressure they're going to face compared to what I face. Usually when you're a child, stuff your parents tell you not to do, it's more attractive to go against that. The word rebellious when you're a child. But then later on, you find out like, wow, my parents were, that's why I try to have a relationship with my children to let them know like, yo, what daddy said is right. I tell them, look at the results of whatever you want to do, whether good or bad. Whatever the results happen to other people, there's millions of examples. Take heed to that. The same thing will happen to you because you are a human being with 2 arms, 2 legs, and a brain. Use it to the best of your ability. And that's how I always take on it. And that's where anything in any area of life. And I always try to tell them social media, where anybody, you don't know what's behind the whole scale. Yep. Social media, we have control of what we put out there. We're all human. We don't want to show our flaws right there for everybody to see and study. We want to show our best. So I always try to tell people, whatever you see, appreciate what you see. Don't compare yourself on that person's lifestyle because you don't know what could be going on. So, but that's not the majority. That's not the majority. We seeing people are emulating social media. Those who got that's woke is up to them type of individuals to try to lead the laws. Because back then you couldn't do it. It's only through word of mouth. The people who was preaching or teaching this type of knowledge, they try to shut it down. But now that we have social media, gotta spread that word. It's more easier than ever. If Jesus, there was no social media when Jesus was preaching the word, but his name rung bells all over Jerusalem and everywhere. Word of mouth will always be popular. So I think that's what needed. That's what social media needs to be used for. You see what it's doing for negativity? So I think the same could be done with positivity.
No, I agree, man.
It's this platform.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what each of you guys said, right? You guys have some sound principles that it sounds like you're using in your parenting. That also would make me assume that you guys are good parents, right? Because you guys have a good baseline to come from. And I think that we always assume that everyone else is within our relative space. And I think that's part of the problem. We're in a society where you're taught not to judge people, not to speak for other people, not to really be nosy, even though everybody does it, right? But as far as the skill set that you guys have, the particular panel and some of our people that are out there in the crowd, the skill set that you guys have may not be the skill set that someone else has. Somebody is going to be better, somebody's going to be worse. That's always how the world goes. But my point is this: we have to realize that as our life has gotten more complicated, right? Technology was alluded to, social media was alluded to, music, hip hop was alluded to, all during this episode, right? All these things that are complicating our life. Politically, we're more complicated than we ever were before. Everybody's so plugged in to so many different things. I think part of that is what somebody mentioned a minute ago, is that we no longer have the village raising our kids, right? It seems to be a lot of solo action. Again, everybody has their built-in support system. I can go to, grandma, I can go to G-ma, I can go to my best friend, I can go to this person or that person, but don't touch my kid is a very real thing. I have a problem with that, right? And I'm not saying I have a problem with, you defending your child. But if you're going to defend your child. It's bigger than a neighbor or a random person at Walmart touching your child. Your child needs to be defended against the things in this world that they are impressionable against. And as someone said a minute ago, I wasn't, they were rebellious earlier, and they were doing things against what their parents wanted. But at the end of the day, I'm willing to bet this one thing. If you look at the circle of friends you had then, you will kind of see the person you became now. So a lot of times we just have to realize, pay attention to your kids, man. Be a parent to your kid. You need to be the role model. And if you see situations where there's kids over here that don't have that role model, be part of the village and just step in, man. And I think we'll be a much better place at the end of the day. But that wraps us up, man, for the Roundtable Podcast for this Thursday. Catch us again next week at 8. Catch us on Sunday where we have the music review with our live panel. We're going to sit down with the artists. We're going to chop it up, man. We're going to talk about some good music. We got two different artists going on this week. So we got something different. Also pay attention, man. Next Sunday, we're going to do something different with the music review. We're actually going to be reviewed a larger platform artist that we're not going to have in person. So I'm excited about that. Also catch us on Wednesday where we have the music trivia night show, man. Always a lot of fun, always a lot of laughs. And nowadays we got people singing. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys for rocking with us, man. And until we catch you next time, be blessed.
Don't forget the raffle.